he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the judge to seize his assets.
Trump pay, even if it means seizing this building or others.
It's Michael Popok, Legal AF. Letitia James, New York Attorney General, has a very good sense of humor. Letitia James has a very good sense of humor. You may not have caught it in that clip about what Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, is going to do with the almost $500 million disgorgement judgment rendered by Judge Engoron against Donald Trump Organization, and all of his assets. But one of the things she's going to do is take 40 Wall Street away from Donald Trump to satisfy the judgment if he doesn't cough up the money or post a sufficient bond to stop the enforcement of the judgment. And why is 40 Wall Street particularly funny? Because not one, but two different Trumpers thought it was really funny to try to rub the New York Attorney General's office's nose in the fact that when they took the depositions of Donald Trump and Don Jr., they thought it was really funny to say, hey, look, right across the street is 40 Wall Street, my most magnificent masterpiece of a building, or whatever he likes to call it, Donald Trump. It's the equivalent of the Mona Lisa. Who knows what the value is? The value is whatever I feel like calling it on any particular day. We have a word for that in New York, and it's called persistent fraud. When you do that, if anybody else did that to you, you would run away from them screaming. If there's somebody who I want to buy your building, and what's the appraised value? Well, the appraised value is whatever I think it is. Who plays that game? But anyway, I love the fact that in response, Letitia James said, I particularly would go after 40 Wall Street. I see it outside my window all the time. See, windows, Trumpers, work both ways. You can sit in 40 Wall Street and look over at the New York Attorney General's office. You can also look at from the Attorney General's office in Perch and see 40 Wall Street. And that was the sort of insider joke that Letitia James relishes now that she's in the driver's seat, having obtained her judgment of disgorgement and banning of Donald Trump for at least the next 3 years in all things related to business in New York. Now, let me get down to brass tacks about what happens next. I'm probably one of the few legal commentators on YouTube who's actually seized property related to civil enforcement of judgments. I've seized boats, I've seized yachts, I've seized buildings, commercial property, condominiums, houses, watches, art collections, you name it. It's part of being a civil practice lawyer. When you get a judgment, the next step, and this is the part that most people kind of fall down on, it's the last yard. The last yard is really hard, which is you got to paper judgment, but you got to turn it into cash, turn judgments into currency, so to speak. One of the ways you do that is through post-judgment enforcement proceedings. And that's what Letitia James is talking about. She's talking about when she has her judgment, it's just a piece of paper. But that piece of paper is powerful and valuable if the person on the other side, the judgment debtor, which is what we now call Donald Trump, has assets. Because what she does is she sits let me walk through the process. If you're a judgment creditor, you have the right to post-judgment discovery, or what we call discovery in aid of execution of the judgment. So you get the judgment debtor in front of you and things related to him, and he has to provide accurate and full information about bank accounts, financial services accounts, real estate, the value of each, real estate, intellectual property, trademarks and copyrights and brands and houses and planes and trains. Oh my, all has to be listed on a very detailed form. And if it's short in its information, you supplement that with a deposition, which is a sworn statement or sworn interview under oath, the purpose of which is to get truthful information as if you're in a court of law. And you have to swear an oath when you give that type of information, and Donald Trump will have to do that. And probably what's called a corporate representative, or in a federal court, we call it a 30B6 witness, to testify about the assets of the Trump Organization. And then you combine all of that, and now that you have the bank accounts, the bank account numbers, the locations, stock market, and of course we know where all of Donald Trump's buildings are, they have his name on it, usually in gold letters. So you take a judgment, you get a writ of execution, from the judge who signs it because it has he or she has to do something to effectuate the judgment. It's just a piece of paper otherwise. And you take that writ of execution, or you take that writ of garnishment, if you're talking about money, or writ of levy, if you're talking about property, and you give it to a sheriff. And the sheriff of Manhattan, the sheriff of New York, goes and seizes the property. It's a boat, he puts a big old padlock on it, and he sells it at auction. The money, the proceeds after deduction for the expense of the sale and all of that go to the judgment creditor to pay off the amount of the judgment, up to the amount of the judgment. You can't recover more through the judgment execution process and through this post-judgment discovery process, but you can't recover less. So if, let's say, and this includes building. So if sheriff needs to seize 40 Wall Street in aid of execution, he puts a big old padlock on it, changes the locks on it, and puts it up for sale to the highest bidder. Now, Donald Trump can bid for it, but then he's got to use more cash. And let's say they sell, I don't know, the building for $300 million. All right? After maybe there's $275 million or $280 million left. That all goes to satisfy the judgment creditor's judgment. So you take 280 off of the 500 million, and they're still owed 210 million. So we keep going. Boats and planes and houses in Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower and the Trump Tower apartment. Now, if there's a fight over overseizing and over levying and over garnishing, in other words, you've now taken property as a judgment creditor that's in excess of the amount that you're owed, that's sorted out by the judge, Judge Angoron. You go and say to him, oh my God, they took a painting, they took a boat, they took a plane, they took my triplex. My triplex apartment in Trump Tower is worth, I don't know, 10,000 square feet of an apartment in New York in that building with his name on it. I don't know, 50 million, somewhere between 50 and 100 million, even in today's market. So they're still short. Now, he can argue that it's worth more. They took $300 million worth of condos, but the entire case is about him lying about his assets. So they'll use independent appraisers and independent appraisal methods to put value on these assets. You can appraise anything: art, watch collection, car collection, value of a copyright, value of a right to royalties in the future from payments, right to, he's got a lot of license agreements with his name on it. Everything can be valued, jewelry of Melania, and then you go about picking up what you can, and bank accounts, not just 40 Wall Street, although I love the poetic justice of 40 Wall Street because of what I told you at the top of the hot take, but they can go to banks and say, give me all the money in the bank account for Donald Trump and Trump Organization, assets of Donald Trump, please. Give me all the money that's in there for the trust of Donald Trump Trust, please. Whatever's in there, up to the limit of the judgment.
Did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with more than 10,000 different kinds of plants and over 2 million happy customers in the U.S.? You can grow lemon, avocado, olive, or fig trees inside your home on top of the wide variety of houseplants available. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to order online, and your plants are shipped directly to your door in 1 to 2 days. And along with their 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, they offer free plant consultation forever. Fast Growing Trees is truly incredible. From their breathtakingly beautiful plants and trees to their amazing customer support, there's no one I trust more. Plus, I save so much money by not using an overpriced landscaper. I'm obsessed with my Meyer lemon tree that I ordered from Fast Growing Trees, and I'm growing it indoors. The experts at Fast Growing Trees curate thousands of plants so you can find the perfect fit for your specific climate, location, and needs. You don't have to drive around nurseries and big gardening centers. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to order online, and your plants are shipped to your door in 1 to 2 days. Whether you're looking to add some privacy, shade, or natural beauty to your yard, Fast Growing Trees has in-house experts ready to ship and help you make the right selection with growing and care advice available 24/7. For a limited time, not only can you buy one, get one free on their website, but listeners to our show get an additional 15% off when using the code LEGALAF at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code LEGALAF at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code LEGALAF. This offer is valid for a limited time. Tell them we sent you. I've been using Fast Growing Trees for years. I'm so thrilled they're our sponsor.
And so I love Letitia James because it drives them up the wall in Trump world. And it drives Alina Habba mad as a hatter. Like you can just see her foaming at the mouth every time Letitia James brags, rightfully so, about her takedown of Donald Trump and the Trump Organization. He's not the only big fat cat corrupt person that she's gone after in her career. She's simultaneously going after the National Rifle Association, the NRA, and she's putting them out of business. There's a trial going on right now in the same courtroom that her same team or different overlapping team tried the case against Donald Trump. If this person doesn't get reelected and maybe even governor, I don't know what is going to happen in the state of New York. I mean, her celebrity is high because her body of work, look at her body of work. In 1 year, 2024, she's going to take down the NRA and Donald Trump. Who's got that credential? Whereas Letitia James likes to say, you want to get something done, give it to a woman. And that's what happened here. So I wanted to give you an overview of what enforcement of the judgment means. And that starts in about 28 days, 27 days. Donald Trump has that long to post a bond. The bond is going to be substantial. He's not going to be able to get away with a 10% bond and put up $50 million. He's going to have to put up hundreds of millions of dollars. To hear Alina Habba tell it, he's going to have to come up with $500 million, $500 million, number so big I couldn't get my lips wrapped around it, $500 million in order to stay the execution of the E. Jean Carroll $83.5 million bond, and the one that he's going to have to post to stop the enforcement of the civil fraud disgorgement judgment rendered by Judge Engoron. We'll follow it here. We'll try to give you all the information you need in these Legal AF breakout sessions about judgment in aid of execution, discovery in aid of execution, and what you can do with it, including padlock and sell at an auction a building owned by Donald Trump. Wouldn't that be grand? I was just in a foreign country for a little bit of a family holiday, and just as a side note, and in a marina near the place I was a mega yacht owned by a Russian oligarch that had been seized through the U.S. government by the country that I was in. So there's a big old fat padlock on it that said, this is now the property of fill in the blank for the country I was in. And it's being sold, or it was sold at auction on Monday for up to $70 million. I'm sure that oligarch was not happy, just the way Donald Trump's not going to be happy when they start selling off his assets and he goes with his ATM card. I just fantasize about Donald Trump having an ATM card and going to his local ATM and trying to withdraw, I don't know what, and being told zeroed out, negative balance, garnishment, levy came by. We'll follow it all on the MeidasTouch Network on this YouTube channel. 2 million strong, going to be 3 million with your help, free subscriptions by Election Day. And then you follow us on Legal AF, the podcast at the intersection of law, politics, and justice. The title means exactly what you think. And it's at that intersection of law, politics, and justice that we do our best work. You like lawyers who know what they're talking about at the intersection? You come to the right place, Legal AF, and then on audio podcast platforms of your choice. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.